So, Nathan Lawrence here, Hoshana Rabbah. I'm recording this for the Zoom meeting and also for the YouTube channel on Hoshana Rabbah. And I thought I would give a real quick, my thoughts on some things that are happening in the world around us. I will be honest with you. I have not received a vision. I have not received a visitation from Jehovah. I have not received a dream. I have not received a flashing sign in the heavens that says, thus saith the Lord. I'm not going to pretend about any of this stuff. I am simply an individual who knows the Bible, knows the Word of Elohim, and has a little bit of understanding about Bible prophecy. And I will not sit up here and pontificate like all these false teachers do about how they think everything is going to happen. We've discussed that before, and they're all wrong. And some of them have little fragments of truth. And if I did that, I would be wrong also. I can give you the overall view of what I believe is going to happen based on my understanding of the Torah and my understanding of the biblical feasts and how they relate to eschatology, based on my understanding of the tabernacle and its layout and other things. And we've already discussed those things. I've written on them. I've made videos. I don't need to go over that again. But I wanted to make a few comments because some interesting things have happened in the United States and around the world. And again, this is just my reflection on these things based on what I see in the Bible, based on I'll just be honest with you, my vast understanding of history. And also and I see the broad sweep and the trajectory of history. And I also have a basic understanding of end-time prophecy. I say a basic understanding like everybody else. So, in the United States, we have had some recent Supreme Court rulings that have been very good. And I don't need to go through them. They relate to abortion, the Second Amendment, gun rights, the EPA and government overreach, and a few other things like that. A prayer in school. And these are very good things. This is a very positive thing. And it appears that maybe some more rulings like this will come down. And that's not bad. That tells me that the Supreme Court of the United States is not totally bought and paid for by the New World Order crowd. That these men, people like Clarence Thomas and others, they're doing things that are against the New World Order and the agendas of the Babylon the Great New World Order. Now they're calling it the liberal world order. They come up with new names, whether it's the Global Reset, the New World Order, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, or the, whatever, this agenda or that agenda. They come up with names to confuse people. The Fourth Great Awakening, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Fourth Turning. There's all these different names. Now they're coming up with the liberal world order. Those of us that are not children of the darkness of the light, we can see that it's the same wolf in sheep's clothing in different costumes. But it's the same crowd, the same people, the same globalist. I don't call them elites, I call them the scumbags. The same Satan devil worshipers, the same puppet masters behind the scenes. Same agendas. How do I know what their agenda is? I can go read the book of Revelation, chapter 13, 17, and 18. It's all there. We've been over it many times. And so that tells me that the Supreme Court isn't totally under the thumb of the of these guys. And that's good. That's good for the United States. And that's good for the rest of the world that looks to the United States still as some sort of a leader. Now, what will be the impact of that? Well, I don't know. It's good. Do I think it's going to turn the whole ship around? No. Will it maybe bring some breathing room to some of us who are standing for truth and righteousness and give us a little more time, maybe, to be about our Father's business and occupy till He comes? Yes, very possibly. Just like when Donald Trump became president, it gave us a reprieve, if you will, from kind of stopped in a certain sense, not in all areas, but it did begin to turn some things around. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't the second coming of Yeshua. He was not a godly man. But Yehovah can use Balaam's jackass, even a donkey, to do a few things. He can use a Cyrus. He can use a Nebuchadnezzar. And it says that in the scripture that He's called them, both Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar, my servant. And He used Balaam's donkey. He can use whoever He wants. Even an unwashed, heathen, pornographic, adulterating, prostitute, foul-mouthed individual. Or whatever. Because Elohim is sovereign. And He did that with Donald Trump. And now, the Christian church did not wake up. And now we got even worse. And I believe that they're going to get Biden out of there, and we'll get even worse. We'll get even worse. You can't believe it could get worse, but it could get worse. Look who the vice president is. A total moron. Because Yehovah said in Isaiah that He would raise up the basest of people to rule over you when you turn from me. He said that about Judah. And that's exactly what has happened. These are principles that are overarching and history repeating itself. And we can see it in many nations and certainly in America. So, we may get a little bit of a reprieve because of the recent court rulings. We may even get a reprieve if in the midterm elections, a majority of Republicans are elected, who are America First and MAGA, Make America Great Again. I don't think we should be saying Make America Great Again. We should be saying Make America Holy Again, if it ever was totally holy. But it was more holy than it is now, that's for sure. Anyway, so we might get a little bit of a reprieve. But make no mistake about it. MAGA, the Republicans, Donald Trump, or anybody else you want to point to are not the answer to the problem. There is not a physical answer or a physical solution to a spiritual problem. The spiritual problem goes back just like what said a little earlier ago. It's a spiritual problem. It's because there is no fear of Elohim, or very little of it, and because people are lawless and rebels, and they refuse to submit to Yeshua and His word. And that's including from the pastors on down, and that's where the heart of the problem is. So yes, He might give us a little bit of a reprieve, but do you really think that it's going to turn things around? I don't, because I can read where this all is pointed. And if you look back over the last 60 years or 100 years, everything has been moving in a certain direction. And yes, you have, sometimes it's slowed down, sometimes it's sped up, depending on who is in power politically, but we've been moving in a certain direction. It's called Babylon the Great. And the inflation, the cost of the dollar or whatever, the kroner or whatever, the pound sterling or whatever, the ruble or whatever country you happen to live in, they are moving us toward a digital currency. That will pave the way to the mark of the beast. I never believed that COVID passport was the mark of the beast, but it was paving the way for people to accept the mark of the beast. And God bless the people in France. They voted it down. Even though the European Union this week voted in favor of it, and the French people said no. And Macron, the president of France, suffered a major setback. I guess the people of France still have a little bit of French Revolution republicanism living in them, even though the French Revolution was basically a disaster, or ended up becoming a disaster. I'm a student of the French Revolution. I only studied French in France for 15 years and have lived in that country, and I've something I know and understand quite well. But they voted it down, and we'll see where it goes. And now Australia has opened up its borders. It was one of the most draconian, locked down countries in the world. But now Fauci's come out and said, and remember several weeks ago, bumbling buffoon in the White House slipped up and said, when COVID comes back around again, remember he made that comment. And now Fauci's coming out and sure enough is saying, oh, we have a worse variant, another variant coming. And I'm listening to Dr. Robert Malone, a couple days ago. He was being interviewed by Steve Bannon on the War Room, and he's one of the inventors of and holds a bunch of the patents on the RNA. I think that's it. The gene editing, that's in the spike protein in the COVID vaccines. He said, he goes, basically the new variant, if you're healthy, it's just a bad head cold. And that most of the people that are getting it have already been triple or quadruple vaxxed. And it is, boy, I tell you, they're probably YouTube's going to ban this video. We'll see if they do. I might have to put it up on Getter. I got to get it. Getter. I've got to get Rumble. I've got to get one of these days I'm going to have to get a parallel account going, because this may be one of these videos they ban. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be curious to see if they ban it or not. It depends how thorough their censors are. So we just pray, Father, a spirit of blindness in the name of Yeshua over the eyes of Satan right now, to blind the censors so they will not pick up on this video. We won't put the name of it in the... They've already banned one of my videos, and then I changed the title, and then they put it back on again. Or they let it come back on. So we outwitted them on that one, but it had to do with COVID. But anyway, Dr. Robert Malone said that, it's just a glorified head cold. And if you've already got COVID, your chances are you're not going to get it. But the people that have gotten triple and quadruple vaxxed are more likely to get it. And they're about 90% of those coming into the hospitals are those who have been triple vaxxed or have severe health issues. So it's really nothing to be afraid of if you take the precautionary measures like we all know we should do and all that, and stay under the blood of Yeshua. So this is another thing that's going to come back around to further put people under fear and prepare the way for, I believe, for the eventual mark of the beast. Whenever that's going to come, I don't know, but beware. They're trying to wear us down. So this is an inevitable march toward globalism. All of these things, the wars, we could talk about a lot of things. The food prices. The price of food is going up because of energy. Energy is the answer. And the powers that be are determined, as you well know, not to free up energy and move us toward the types of energy that are not sustainable. And this is all by ploy to move us into more dependence on the government and to take away our rights and our freedoms so that we cannot travel, and to lower our standard of living because of global wealth redistribution. It's a form of communism called carbon credits, where the haves have to pay the have-nots. They're not going after China or India, the biggest pollutants in the world. They're going after America and other nations that have very clean environments and trying to shut us down. So the Bible talks about several seals in the book of Revelation about food being, a loaf of bread being equal to a day's wages. Well, that's going to come. And this is all in preparation for that. I don't know what the time frame is, but let me just conclude with saying this. We may get a few little reprieves in the meantime, and the wise people will be using those reprieves. The price of gasoline might come down and some other things. But he's giving us this opportunity to get our houses in order, I believe, to prepare. Get our houses in order spiritually, to build community and others of like-minded people, to begin to work together, and to prepare ourselves, get out of debt, build up your savings, maybe build up a little bit of food, so that you will be a little more self-sufficient, so that you won't be running to the government, to big brother, big sister, the moment things happen. And most importantly, to get yourself, build up your faith and your trust in him and draw closer to Yeshua, so you will be a strong tree. So when the winds really blow hard, you will be a stronger tree to be able to withstand the storms, to build your house spiritually on the, strengthen the foundation that your house is built on, as Yeshua talked about in the parable. Well, it was an analogy there in Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount about the wise man building his house on the rock. So those are my thoughts. Am I a pessimist? Yeah, pretty much so. Am I skeptical? Yeah, pretty much so. Overall, I'm a pessimist because, as John from Tasmania said in one of his comments on my blog, these things have to happen so that Yeshua can come back. These things have to happen somewhere, somehow, to someone. So I say, in a sense, bring it on, so that Yeshua can come back. I'm not wanting all these things to happen. My flesh man doesn't want it, but my spirit man says, I need to be refined. I need to be prepared. I need to get ready. And he's giving us time and opportunity. And a fellowship like this and other fellowships, we can encourage one another and share our insights. So in a sense, this is Yehovah is behind the scenes orchestrating everything, because his word is true and his word will come to pass, whether we want it or not, because it is written. So get ready, fasten your seatbelts, look up, for your redemption draws nigh, and be strong and be lean and mean and get radical for him. I really believe that he is going to make us prosper in these times. And I'm not just talking about physical prosperity. I think we're all going to have to tighten our belts and learn to live at a lower level, which will be good for us. But especially, he will cause us to thrive and prosper spiritually. And that's how we overcome the world, the flesh, and the devil. And he will take care of us by giving us our daily bread. But we've got to get our physical houses in order, economic houses, and all of these things. And he's giving us an opportunity to do that. All right. That's all I have to say on that.